You know, there's a
Can everybody hear me? Yes. Hello, everybody. We're going to get started here in about 2 minutes, so if you want to go ahead and find a seat. Carl, how's it going over there? And all my panelists can go ahead and come down here too. Carlos, you're going to be down here on the end, and then I've got the honeybee dudes right here.
what's that kid big down
They get that.
What?
Yes.
Okay, he's shy. Justin is shy.
Yeah.
Pointed out just how
Justin at honeybeelabs.com. Adam Hess, please come to the stage. Adam Hess. You can't have water. I didn't tell you until now, this was a waterless panel discussion. Bottles of water or whatever we can figure out. Thanks. I can say hello to everybody tuning in on the live stream over there. Hope somebody's watching this. It's a big pain in the butt set up. Just waiting on some waters for these gentlemen, but I guess we can go ahead and get started in the meantime. Howdy doody, everyone. Welcome to our main meeting. Give yourselves a hand. You don't have to be quiet. Hey, you got that sound thing? Go ahead and bring that down here. So, first things first, how's everybody doing? Yeah? How's it feel to be living in a sort of medical marijuana state? Sort of. Not as good as it feels to be in Colorado, I'm sure. Where they don't have things like, oh yeah, nice shirt right there. Where they don't have limitations on what you can use medical marijuana for. That's pretty cool. I think that's what Texans deserve, right? Yeah. Cool. Well, so this is the very first step for us embracing the limited medical marijuana that now exists here in Texas and actually throughout the country in the form of CBD Hemp Oil, which a lot of people have had questions about. I have personally received 100 emails at least from people asking about these companies, asking about if this is even a legitimate thing or if it's snake oil, and I just kind of felt like it was time to talk about it. Did you guys?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, so, yeah, you can clap at that, Arthur, it's cool. I kind of felt like this was something that if we didn't get in front of this, then the people who were peddling snake oil would. And I didn't want the beginning of medical marijuana in Texas to be run by snake oil salesmen. And you guys probably don't either. And so I kind of felt like we needed to find some of these companies who were not only doing legitimate business, doing putting out a product that was a good product, that they were willing to explain what was in it and provide their test results, which all three of these guys have done. And I kind of felt like it was time to open up the discussion about what these guys were doing and ask a lot of really obvious questions that maybe aren't so easy to Google the answer to. Does that sound good to you guys?
Yeah.
Cool. All right. Well, before we do that, because I want to wait till they have some waters before I start asking them a bunch of questions, there's a couple of things that I want to put out there first and foremost. At DFW NORML, we are totally a volunteer organization. That means none of us make any money as DFW NORML activists. And I think that that's a really easy way to make sure that your activism stays pure, that it is from the heart. It is a volunteer thing. And so with that, we always like to really recognize people who are outstanding volunteers, people who just, quite frankly, go way above and beyond what was ever expected of them and just keep kicking ass again and again and again. And one person that I did not get the chance to recognize at our global marijuana march recently was Arthur Mayer right here. Arthur, stand up. Arthur has probably become one of the most outstanding and outspoken Texas marijuana activists I've ever seen in the past couple of years. He's somebody that I personally look up to as just a human being. He served this country in the military, and he's testified in Austin on behalf of marijuana. He is just an awesome, awesome person. We are lucky to have him as a volunteer. And so what we wanted to give him at the Global Marijuana March, but he took off to get home to work on editing the video of the march that he had been shooting all day. So I couldn't even give it to him. I'd like to present this gold I'm NORML sign to Arthur.
Well, I will say this, it's been one of the pleasures of my life to know every one of you guys. I mean, I don't know a better bunch of guys that I want to be associated with than you. Thank you very much.
All right, the second announcement I would like to kind of get going. How many people were paying attention to what recently happened with the Texas Republican Party? Yep. A couple people. There's somebody who literally had her finger on the pulse of this while it was going on, that has volunteered to come and tell us a little bit about what just happened, why we should care, and why it's a significant step for Texas Republicans. I'd like to introduce Faith Busey. She's a local grassroots activist and campaign consultant who has fought bond packages, red light cameras, and the local establishment at Arlington City Hall. She is also a Republican precinct chair who is active in the party and served on this year's state platform committee. Faith will be giving us a play-by-play on how medical marijuana made its way onto the Texas Republican Party platform and what we can do to help push this in the legislative session. So please give Faith a hand.
This is my first meeting. This is really exciting. So like you said, I'm a local grassroots activist, and all politics is local. So the Republican State Convention that just happened a couple weeks ago, I was honored to be serving on the state platform committee, and we had a resolution come through for medical marijuana, the Compassionate Use Act. It states, we call upon the Texas legislature to improve the 2015 Compassionate Use Act to allow doctors to determine the appropriate use of cannabis to prescribe patients. Okay, there's a lot of nuances here that weren't there before. There was a low THC that was put in there before. We took that out, and now it's just cannabis instead of low THC cannabis. Somebody came back in later and tried to put in only these certain kinds of qualified doctors can do this, and it can only be for prescribed patients who have these 5 different types of diseases: cancer, PTSD, and the like. And I got up and I spoke against adding those things, because when you look up disease in the dictionary, you're going to see more than 5. So, and my husband likes to call the doctors I go see witch doctors, so they wouldn't qualify if I wanted to do something like that. So basically, this is huge, because once on the floor, once we got done debating all the things, we voted on all the things, okay? 40% would have been a win for medical cannabis. But we didn't get just 40%, we got 78%. And just to explain how huge this is, the Republican State Party of Texas holds the largest political convention on the planet. It's larger than the national convention, it's larger than any other political convention you can think of, and 78% of the delegates said yeah to this. So this is better than any polling that we've done in the Republican Party. This is better than just, having a few groups say no. 78% of Republicans, because regardless of what you think about federal politics, and I said all politics is local, when you go down to Austin, you're talking to Republicans and you're talking to Democrats. And the Republicans you're talking to want cover because they don't want people to be mad at them for voting on this. When you can look at them and say, look, 78% of Republicans voted for this, that's cover. Okay, that's CYA for them. And it's important because if we get to this next legislative session, we are going to need more people like Arthur, who I met down at the Capitol in Austin 2 years ago. We need more people like him to come down and testify. We need more people to come down and meet your legislators and build relationships with them, because if you're not giving them this information, they're not getting it. Or they're getting it from, somebody that they don't like or whatever. Build relationships with them and have this as it's a tool. So that's all it is, but it's an important tool, and I think that we are closer than we've ever been to getting medical marijuana passed in the state of Texas. I mean, thank you all so much for your work in this process, and I hope that we can continue that. So if anybody wants to come and talk to me, we're going to be doing training with the Tarrant County Republican Party on how to lobby your legislators and get ready to go down. Get your testimonies ready and lead everybody. So thank y'all so much for having me. I appreciate it.
All right, thank you, Faith. So first time attending a meeting and speaking at it. That's pretty impressive. Thank you very much. So up next, the main event. Is anybody curious about CBD oil? Make some noise if you are, because I can't hear you. I admit that I have been on marijuana is the way to go. Obviously, I think we can all agree on that. But we also, I think, can agree that there are baby steps that our lawmakers are willing to take before we really get to where we want to be. And so I guess I was always struggling with the thought of only a partial bit of this plant being available to us. Kind of just pissed me off, I guess, fundamentally, because, we deserve the whole plant. Would you agree?
Yeah.
But in thinking about it more and more, it kind of became clear to me that an obvious first step is giving people a little taste of it, right? Even if it's not exactly what we want, it's a step in the right direction. And so for me, it was always, who are these local companies? Because I wanted to work only with Texas companies. We're a DFW NORML organization. I want to work with Texas companies, period. And I wanted to find the Texas companies who were doing this. And we found them. And actually, they kind of found us in a way too, because we're that good at what we're doing that we attract what we're looking for in terms of talent and sponsors and businesses. And so I'd like to let each one of these fine gentlemen take a couple of minutes, 1 or 2 minutes, please, to introduce themselves, kind of how they got into all of this, to give you a little bit of context on who these people are. They're not just businessmen sitting up here. And also talk a little bit about their company. And we're going to get more into the details about CBD and some of the products here as the panel goes on. But I just want to give some introductory comments real quick. So up first, Glenn from Honeybee. Justin there, Glenn from Honeybee.
Justin's going to end up here.
Bring that microphone closer.
Testing, 1, 2, there we go. My name is Glenn Reynolds from Honeybee Healthy Living. We started this journey about 2 years ago. We originally started looking at doing what Sean was talking about. We wanted to do full plant extractions, so on and so forth, THC, CBD, and everything. We were making trips to Colorado pretty frequently, talking to anything from growers to processing facilities, so on and so forth. And along the way, we established some relationships with some people that are very, very knowledgeable and very well educated. And one of the individuals kept telling us that hey, we really need to take a look at hemp. Hemp was the way of the future. And at the time, since we were so focused on just your general THC and so on and so forth, it didn't make sense to us. We were trying to figure it out. And we had these long conversations going, well, how can we make hemp work for us? And the more we started looking at CBD, the more we started realizing that it wasn't just about the psychoactive effects. There's a lot more people out there that need the health benefits of what cannabis has to offer than just having the psychoactive effects of it. And so the more we looked into it, the more we got it, and the more we started researching it, and we started looking at the different types of farmers that are out there, who's doing what. We visited some farms throughout Colorado, and we kind of locked in on a place. And so all of our product right now is coming out of Colorado. We partnered up with a company that's in Colorado Springs, that's a processing facility, and they work with the farmer. And it's a fantastic product. I know some of you guys have tried our product. Actually, quite a few of you guys have. We're a national company. We do a lot of business here in the state of Texas. We get calls almost on a daily basis from other states, people that somehow or other they're like, hey man, we heard about your guys' product, the quality and everything. And the one thing that we'll always emphasize is going to be quality and customer service. That's the one. I say the one thing because to me there's no difference between the two. You got to have quality, you got to have customer service. And like Sean was saying, there's a lot of companies that are out there that want to come in, make a quick buck, and get out. And those are going to be your fly-by-night companies that are basically selling snake oil. So one of the things that we're hoping to accomplish here today, and as we continue to work with people and educate people, that's part of our job as well, is to educate people of what good CBD is and what it's not. But there's more factors into it than just going, okay, well, hey, this bottle has 100 milligrams of CBD in it. All right, where'd that CBD come from? Exactly. What's the purity of that 100 milligrams of CBD? There's a lot of difference between 70% purity CBD and 25% purity CBD. And so those are all things that a lot of people don't know to ask the questions to. So some of these companies are out there just selling glorified hemp oil. It's not going to do anything for you at all. And then what happens is that the companies that are out there doing good, the people that they can actually help have had a tarnished experience because they've experienced a product that's not CBD. It's not a true CBD. So it's our job as good companies to make sure that we're out there educating people on what questions to ask and how to ask those questions, and that there's more to it than just how many milligrams of CBD are in a particular product. So that's kind of a little bit about how we got started. We absolutely love what we do. This is the only job I've ever had in my entire life, and I've owned businesses since I was 15 years old, and I'm about 100 right now, so it's been a long time. It's the only business I've ever owned where whenever I go to bed at nighttime, I feel great every single day. It's amazing. We get probably 2 to 3 testimonials a day, and I will still always remember the very first testimonial. I had goosebumps on my arms. I called my parents crying, and I don't cry that much, but I was crying that day. And a lady that lives here in the DFW area, and it was the first lady we ever sold anything to. She called me up, asked me to come over to her house. I went over there. I didn't know if I was going to get griped out or what. So it was our very first customer. And she held out her hand and she said, you see my hand? And I said, yeah. Didn't know exactly what I was looking at. And I said, yes, ma'am. And she said, I've had a major tremor since I was 11 years old. I think I didn't ask her her age, but I think she's probably in her late 30s, early 40s. And she said, I've had a major tremor since I was 11 years old. I'm with a disability. I can't even hold a fork. She goes, my hand hadn't been that steady since I was 11 years old. And when I had CBD right now. But I did. I left. I called all my partners. I called my parents. I was like, oh my God, this stuff really works. And so it's been a crazy journey ever since then. And some of the testimonials we get nowadays are so extreme that you can't help but feel good about what you're doing every day. So anyways, that's our story.
Hey, thank you very much. Our second speaker today is Nathan Tamaro from CBD American Shaman, a company that kind of found us, set up at our Global Marijuana March, and I think we're probably going to be partners for a while after that. So please give Nathan a hand.
Thank you. 'Cause, 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 '
So we're not technically a Texas-based company. We are originated out of Kansas City, but I've been living in Plano and I've opened up shop down here basically. So we are now in the early stages of our company, only being around for about a year and a half. It was the early part of 2015. So it's a fairly new company and we're expanding. It's really phenomenal how Vince Sanders is the man who founded our company, and it was kind of one of those testimonials of living things where there's a need and somebody's determined enough, they're going to fill that need. It was a neighbor, I believe, coming down with some terminal cancer and just not accepting the allopathic ways, and unfortunately, the man passed before the company was founded, and then a couple other people were brought in, and it was the same story. And then out of anger for my mom having stage 4 cancer and really not getting the remedy through allopathic care, I got on board with it. And so I think a lot of ours stems from the compassion, like I'm hearing about in medicinal marijuana. It's the driving force of reaching people who have really no other way to go. And I think I see a big trend in the shift away from allopathic care. Not saying that it's all bad or anything, but just that it can be supplemented and a lot more affordable, and something that we should have been doing a long time ago. And what we have to do now is learn ourselves, and it's always about learning. I mean, just the fact that everybody thought THC was the way to go, and then CBD, and I think there's a lot more to learn still. And so as we're educating ourselves, now it's about awareness and spreading, that awareness to everybody, you guys today, and people live, and it's going to keep on going. It is a movement, and it's not going to stop, and that's what I'm really proud about, is that I can help my family, my close ones, myself, and then the millions of other people that I expect that our companies are going to be touching. So it's a very heartfelt story. We can go into the live testimonials later too, but I think we all have a tearjerker story that's really driving it. So, but anyway, I'm glad to be a Texan now, 3 months in. So I think I have to exchange my "you guys" from northern Minnesota, where I'm originally from. You might hear that. What is it, y'all? Howdy? No, we don't do howdy.
Oh, we do have it.
So yeah, that's so much story there. So.
All right, thanks very much. Give me a hand. So last but certainly not least, we have Carlos Frias from the Texas Wellness Center. This is another one of those companies that sought us out and quickly became a supporter, donating $1,000 to DFW NORML to make the global marijuana march happen. And I think we'll probably be working together for a while too, don't you think, Carlos? Yeah. So here's
our story is, I was in the Marine Corps from 1999 till 2003. Me and my brother owned a collective in California. We're cannabis cultivators by trade. I'm from Texas, but moved to California to be in the Marine Corps. When I got out, spent the better part of 12, 13 years traveling back and forth from Texas to California, managing our collective that we had. Started experimenting with, cultivation on a very small scale, and very quickly found out that we had a knack for it. And, in 2007, we officially started our collective in Fort Wayne, California. So we are cultivators by trade. We've been in the industry for, since for a very long time. Managed to be successful in that quasi-legal, medical marijuana industry that exists in California. And so we've been cultivating and doing extraction in California for a while. When we moved back here, had a short-lived career in commercial real estate. Really, it just wasn't for me sitting behind a desk and wearing a suit. And, trying to find a way to we've been preparing for legalization in Texas, so we're also applicants for Senate Bill 339 cultivation, processing, and dispensing licenses. We were looking for a way to get involved, and kind of stumbled upon this through a friend. and started our company about 6 weeks ago. So we have, we're very young in this industry. And I mean, I think the other guys kind of said it all as far as, I think everybody's mission is pretty much the same, we're trying to pave the way for, I mean, hemp by definition is a form of cannabis. So, make no mistake about it that these are cannabis oil extracted products in a legal form, because hemp is a member of the cannabis sativa L family. So we're just paving the way for the industry, trying to bring transparency to the industry. There's a lot of companies that aren't transparent, like Glenn was saying. From dosing on bottles to, who's making their stuff and where they're importing their stuff from, and does it come from overseas, and are these markets even regulated, and who's growing the hemp? What kind of hemp is it? Is it really industrial hemp, or is it, as the Stanley brothers call it, medicinal hemp? So a lot of things that kind of play into the quality of the final product, but so that's pretty much our story. We're a young company, and we're kind of finding our footing, and trying to get in kind of where we're finding where we fit in, and but we bring a lot of experience to the table. I mean, we've been in the cannabis industry for a very long time, and we understand from the cultivation aspect, we understand extraction, we understand delivery of desired cannabinoids, formulation of products with oils. Hemp oil being, again, it is cannabis in one form, whether people want to accept that or not. So we've been familiar with cannabis extracts and formulating products out of cannabis extract. The only difference is the strengths of the levels of the different cannabinoids that we have to work with here in Texas, which is, obviously everybody knows it's hemp is 0.3% THC or less. So it's just a different strength of the oils, but I mean, that's pretty much our background and how we got into this industry.
All right. So, Carlos, since you got to go last, I'm going to give you the first question. Can you explain what is cannabidiol, what is CBD, and how does it compare to THC?
Cannabidiol is one of the 60 compounds found, naturally occurring compounds found in any plant that comes from the cannabis family. So, the federal government defines hemp as any cannabis sativa L plant grown or not with a THC concentration of 0.3% or less. So these varieties that are grown as hemp, whether overseas or domestically, are, and really I would say domestically the varieties that are grown are more CBD-rich varieties. Overseas are more industrial varieties. But so cannabidiol is I'm not going to say it's the most medicinal compound of the plant, because some would argue that THC has just as much medicinal value. THC just has a bad rap in society because cannabis has been demonized by our government for the past, I don't know, since the 40s or 50s. I mean, cannabis used to be legal, was used as medicine. So I think all compounds of any cannabis plant, whether cannabis sativa, indica, ruderalis, whatever you're talking, I mean, they all have medicinal benefit, but CBD in particular, has gotten the most attention, I think, because it's the non-psychoactive compound. So CBD cannabidiol is non-psychoactive. It, because of FDA guidelines, I can't sit up here and tell you that it cures this or cures this or cures that. But I will say that people have found relief in a lot of different ways by using products that have high concentrations of CBD. So we're talking, once again, not necessarily from any of our products, but testimonies are out there that people, it helps with arthritis, helps with inflammation, helps with, Rick Simpson has claimed that, cannabis oil cured cancer. I'm not going to stand behind that statement because I don't want to get in trouble with the FDA, but studies are out there. I mean, you guys kind of have to, we can't tell you what CBD cures because, we'll be indicted by the federal government. So I would tell you to do your own research on what CBD is good for. But cannabidiol just, as of recently, has gotten the most attention for being the most medicinal compound of the plant. I would argue that fact, but I would say it's a very medicinal compound, but THC has its own medicinal properties. It's just THC is psychoactive and CBD is not. Now, I will say that CBD is not psychoactive, but there are parts of cannabidiol that, when activated at certain heat levels, become slightly psychoactive. So I feel like it's kind of a moot point that people, oh, it's non-psychoactive. Okay, yeah, you're right. That's technically, that's the right definition of CBD. But when you heat it, CBD turns into CBN, CBG, and CBN has been found to have slight psychoactive properties. So it's just the most, I would say, society-friendly compound found in any cannabis plant that has great, so I've heard, medicinal benefits. And I would suggest that everybody do their own research as to what, I mean, it blows us away. We as we're thinking of new products to formulate, we're launching a complete skincare line. Shampoos, conditioners, facial scrubs, body wraps, acne cream, and it blows our mind every time we do research. Like, wow, I didn't know that CBD, in theory, or I was told, that CBD does A, B, or C, or D. It's just mind blowing every day, the things that people are, the studies that are coming out, and all the benefits that CBD has. So I hope I answered that question.
I think so, yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
All I wanted to say real quick is that he brings up a good point. I don't think you're gonna have any three of us. I think the FDA probably would have stepped over the line and told me the story I told you earlier, but you're not gonna have any of the three of us that are actually gonna sit there and say that it absolutely does this or it absolutely does that. We're all gonna say the same thing. Hey, you need to do your research. You need to. I will tell you that you might want to take a look at some of the research that comes out of Israel. Israel's done a huge amount of research on medical marijuana in general, and the United States does not recognize that research because it does not come out of the United States. But whenever you look at companies and you're trying to figure out if it's a legitimate company or not a legitimate company, this is where I want to kind of expand on what Carlos was saying, is that if you have a company that's out there making a lot of claims and stuff, 9 times out of 10, that's not going to be a legitimate company. The ones that are out there that are telling you to do your own research and stuff like that, 9 times out of 10, that's going to be a legitimate company. So if you want to litmus test as far as like a company that's a good company to work with and not a good company to work with, that's on the surface a pretty good litmus test right there.
Nathan, would you like to add anything to the original question comparing CBD to THC?
No, I think you guys covered a lot, except for I can add on to, Glenn's exactly right, and Vince, the founder, he's doing, 25 hours a day research on this stuff. He's talking with doctors all over the world, and unfortunately our government is a little bit behind because of the limitations of doing this. Off of, and animal tested, and we have anecdotal evidence. But there's all these other countries all over the planet that are being funded by their government, and we don't want to listen to them. Well, we want to, and we want to share that information with you, but we're not going to speak as the truth. But yes, Dr. Meshulam out of Tel Aviv in Israel is somebody that I think you should all do some research on, and I don't think that we do enough research about that doctor. And also Madrid, Spain is coming some really good information. Dr. Guzman working with Dr. Sanchez out of the Guzman Cannabinoid Research Institute. It's funded by its own government, so there's a lot of good information coming from those two. And I'll probably come back to those guys in a little bit later. But as far as all that's going, no, well done.
Could you repeat the first name?
Meshulam, M-E-S-C-H-O-U-L-A-M.
Sorry, one more time.
M-E-S-C-H-O-U-L-A-M.
The second name?
Guzman, Dr. Guzman of Madrid, Spain. Guzman, G-U-Z-M-A-N. I'll be honest, I guessed at that one too.
Thanks for letting me know.
Yeah.
Yes, we
Yeah, and this will be recorded. It's being recorded right now on YouTube and right there in HD. So we'll have a couple of versions so everybody can always come back and all this info. So the next question, I'll go ahead and stick with you, Nathan. Can you tell us some of the differences, like some of the major differences, I guess, between CBD oil from hemp versus the CBD oil from cannabis?
So we have, I think, what you call semantics. Probably would all agree on this one. Kind of a trick question. cannabis, so it's all cannabis. Sativa, cannabis sativa. So you have like the citrus family, then you have grapefruits and oranges. You know, so you have cannabis, what we would nickname as marijuana because it has higher THC levels, and then we have hemp, which is lower THC levels. So we're just going to go with, I guess, I'm guessing what we're referring to is hemp oil and oil from the cannabis plant that has higher than 0.3% THC. And what Carlos said earlier, there are studies that are showing that there are some really good benefits to having higher doses of THC within your oils, but they have to stay within those states that it's considered legal. So what do? We do the best we can with what we have, and our extraction process is basically, you know, due to decarbonization, we're gonna just heat it up and mix them, you know, because all you have to do is add heat to the THCA, and it's going to then become THC. So you can, by adding so much heat, you're going to higher doses of THC. So we keep it low, and you get lower doses of THC. Hemp plants naturally have that anyway, so we don't have to really worry about that when we're getting our oil in. And we are a company that does get our hemp from overseas. We get ours from Norway. So I guess I might as well address that real quick. Not all companies, but like I was saying, there are some, but there's still a lot of debate, I think, surrounding the legitimacy of the amounts of CBD that are considered that really effective balance point of where people are getting their optimal benefits, or at least anecdotally stating getting their benefits. So, so a hemp plant, so Norway, it's been growing there for thousands of years untouched. We haven't had to cross-pollinate it or hybrid, you know, it's not hybridized. It's just been cultivated for the last couple of hundred years, organically, non-GMO, no pesticides, insecticides, and we get it, I guess God intended it to be, and I think a lot of what we're focusing on is getting untouched, more natural, closer to that. And that's a lot of what our philosophy would really like, but we also have to then tweak it. So hemp oil, I guess to get back to the question, you can tweak both of them, hemp oil and higher THC oil, in the processing of it through the extraction process. But between the two, I mean, really the benefits are still anecdotal. I mean, there's really no studies on there in the United States that I can refer to. I can give you live testimonials of what somebody with stage 4 cancer is doing when we have a 750 milligram blend, and after 3 days of doing it, this person being completely lethargic for about 2 to 3 weeks and getting blood clots in their lungs because they're not moving. The doctor's worried about this person. 3 days of taking a dropper a day, so only 50 milligrams of CBD got this person off the couch and working for the first time in over a month and a half. And that's my motivational factor. So the CBD oil from the hemp oil is effective in giving people benefits that they're noticing personally without changing their diet any other way. But I can't tell you what's going on internally in their body. Every person's body is different. Every person has a depleted level that's different from somebody else. I mean, if you have 100%, because your body is making cannabinoids. When you bring in a cannabinoid from a marijuana plant, you bring it into your system, and depending on how depleted you are, is how much you're going to receive the benefits. If you want maximum benefits, go to Colorado. You know, if you want, and do 1,000 to 2,000 milligrams a day. You know, there's some really cool stories coming out, and everybody's probably heard a lot of them. But if you're here in Texas, you're going to get one of these guys' products, and you're still going to see some people that are going to have some amazing stories to share. So the difference between them, I guess, is all legally. Other than that, it's kind of like apples and oranges anyway.
Yeah, okay, great. Glenn, do you want to, you, Glenn, you're sitting like you want to expand on that.
Oh,
Carlos, so I'll give you an option.
I'm always doing that way. No, I mean, the only thing that I'll say is that, like Carlos was saying earlier, it's the same exact plant. You've got, cannabis is cannabis. It's a cannabis sativa ruderalis is what it is. You can get cannabis sativa that's got, depending on some of the stuff coming out of Colorado nowadays, 20% THC. But the way that the courts actually look at what the classification of hemp is that it's the same exact cannabis plant that grows the higher THC. It's just that the only differentiating factor is that the way the courts look at it. And it has to be a cannabis sativa plant that produces less than 0.3% THC naturally. And that's the only absolute difference. So if you ever have anybody say, well, yeah, one's a, I go over to Colorado and I get something better because it comes from a real marijuana plant. Hemp's a real marijuana plant, it just has natural pollution. It has to be less than 0.3% THC. It's the same exact thing. So there is absolutely no difference between a marijuana plant, a cannabis plant, and a hemp plant. It's all the same thing. It's just a matter of semantics in terms of what each of those plants produce in terms of THC. That's what it comes down to.
Carlos, you have
Yeah, I mean, structurally speaking, if we're gonna get down to the scientific definition, right, on a molecular level, it's the exact same thing. The only difference is the THC concentration. That is it, because hemp is cannabis, cannabis indica is cannabis, cannabis sativa is cannabis, cannabis ruderalis is cannabis, and I think they just defined one more, cannabis afghanica. Afghanica is, it's all freaking cannabis. It's like a dog and a wolf and a chihuahua. And if you were to take their blood and study their blood, and we're talking about, tracing their DNA back, you're gonna find their own freaking exact, they all originate as canines, so hemp is cannabis, whether people want to admit that or not. And one of the biggest differences that we were just talking about was when you're talking about CBD oil is, where was that, how was that oil extracted? The laws behind the part of the plant that the oil can be extracted from are very, very vague. And originally, prior to 2014, all hemp products that entered this country the oil had to be extracted from the stalks and seeds of the plant. Post 2014, the Farm Bill Act, Industrial Hemp Act, kind of redefined hemp in this country, and now you have extraction from flowers, and I would say that's a really big difference, is where is the oil being extracted, but then the CBD concentrate of that oil is going to be indicative of what it was extracted from, because milk that comes from hemp seed is hemp extract. But if you're going to do a cannabinoid, I'll tell you that right now, especially if you're testing to the 1000. So it's probably going to have 0.001% THC. And then if those seeds weren't cleaned off, it might have higher concentrations. So that's a hemp extract. That is a hemp oil. But that's going to have very, very, we're talking a 0.1%, of the CBD levels of some of the oils that are coming out now. So I guess they're the exact same thing, except for, always an exception to the rule, right? Except depending on what that oil was extracted from. Was it extracted from stalks? Was it extracted from seeds? Or was it extracted from flowers? Because the resin in the plant comes from the flowers of the plant. So
They know that with testing.
and then, and your test will be reflective. So if you see a test that's 0.05% CBD, it's probably extracted from the stalk and from the seeds. And it's not going to be you're going to have to consume 100 grams of that in one day, to get any type of benefit. I'm not going to say medicinal benefit, but any type of wellness benefit. So, the biggest difference is what was the extraction, what was used as the material to extract this oil. And then, that's, I would say, other than that, molecular speaking, they're exactly the same.
All right. That answer the question? You guys can, audience participation moment. That's No, I'm saying, did he answer the question? Yes?
Yes.
Yeah? We'll wait. So, okay, Glenn.
Stand up, do 10 jumping jacks.
Yeah, right. So Glenn, all right, this question's for you. How is CBD hemp oil legal to sell and distribute in places like Texas?
I get the legal? Yeah. So, but it all comes back to really what we've been talking about the entire time. This all came about starting in about 2002. It would take me an hour to go through the whole legality of it, but it started in 2002 with a lawsuit from the HIA that was filed in courts against the DEA. And basically what it came down to was that the DEA stepped in and closed down some lotion companies that had some hemp extracts in it. And then the battle at the time wasn't even over CBD, it was just over hemp oil. And so DEA stepped in, shut these companies down. HIA, which is the Hemp Industry Association, filed a lawsuit against the DEA. It took about 2 years to get through the courts. The final ruling, bottom line, was that DEA didn't have any jurisdiction over hemp products. It was regulated through the FDA as opposed to the DEA. DEA's fought that off and on throughout the years, but I'm not going to say they finally gave up on the fight. They're just kind of dormant on the fight as of right now, just due to the fact that you have so much other legalization and things like that that's going on, that it would probably be a fairly hard battle for them to face right now. I think on a federal level, they're really not wanting to deal with it. So until that's actually overturned, that's what makes it legal for us to do this on a 50-state basis. We have what courts basically ruled was that once again, that it's regulated through the FDA. The DEA has no jurisdiction over it. And in 2004, it was because hemp wasn't legal to grow here in the United States. It was stated that hemp products could be imported into the states, had to be in certain forms, like Carlos was saying. If it came in an oil form, it had to be extracted in a certain way. In certain parts of the plant. The 2014 Farm Bill allowed us to be able to kind of expand upon that. We were able to still move it around all 50 states because of what happened in 2004. So that's kind of the basis of how we're able to do what we're able to do.
Okay, great. So Nathan, can you tell us how the Texas law enforcement or DEA or whoever's got a badge today can determine or differentiate between CBD oil sourced from hemp and cannabis?
Well, I'm not an authority on this subject. I'm not the Texas DA or whoever department, some agency. I understand, and I watched some Arthur Mayer video about how they can take your stuff, and confiscate it. I think that they can kind of do whatever they want. Unfortunately, the law always wins. And if you want to fight it, and they want to try to say that this is cannabis, this is weed, this is marijuana, and it's not, and they want to go ahead and give you a ticket, put you in jail. They can do whatever they want. Doesn't mean that you're going to be found guilty. This is my opinion. This isn't fact, by the way. So what I believe that they can do, though, is what they do is test it. And they're going to find out that it doesn't have the THC limits. And correct me if I'm wrong, but is it 0.5 in Texas?
0.3.
It is 0.3.
0.5 is considered medical cannabis, but those rules, those licenses haven't been issued yet to cultivate that.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, anything higher than 0.3.
So, I can stand corrected if I'm wrong, but somebody wants to add to that.
Well, I mean, I think I can add a lot to this because we just recently had a client. It's going to remain anonymous, very close to me, that has lupus, that's been taking CBD oil for her lupus. And this individual is on probation. And for I want to say it's a class 1 state felony. So she had 5 years of prison time deferred and started taking the CBD oil. Well, she went to go check in with her probation officer and tested positive for cannabinoids, okay? Her court order, her probation court order reads, and I'm reading this verbatim, the individual must refrain from illegal use of any controlled substance, comma, marijuana, comma, cannabinoids, and or any alcoholic beverages. So our argument was, well, she didn't take illegal. First of all, why the hell is Texas testing for cannabinoids, right? Second of all, she didn't take cannabinoids from an illegal source. So we had a great attorney that took the case on pro bono. and I'm gonna give him a little plug here because he did an awesome job. So Mike Ware of Mike Ware Law, who's part of the Innocence Project, he's exonerated 25 individuals. He used to work with Craig Watkins in Dallas County, and he took the case on pro bono, and he pled to the judge and to the court, hey, you know, she didn't take cannabinoids from an illegal substance. So this happened on Tuesday, and on Tuesday she was literally about to be in handcuffs on her way to jail, and I was in communication with her, and we basically told the PO that if you arrest her right now, we're going to sue the probation department, we're going to sue Tarrant County, and we're going to sue the city of Fort Worth, and we're going to the media because you are interpreting that clause the way that you see fit and not the way that it's written. So, you know, we fought it out with them, and Friday morning, they dropped the probation violation. So they're not going to give us anything that says hemp CBD oil is legal, because that'd be asking way too much. But it's my opinion that by default, they initially said that inadvertently, because if not, she would be in probation of her agreement. So the secondary urinalysis came back negative for THC, but she still had cannabinoids in her system. So, and we can go further into this and say, you know, the Texas Controlled Substance Act, nowhere in the Texas Controlled Substance Act or in the Texas Public Health and Safety Code is cannabinoids, even more specifically cannabidiol, listed once as a controlled substance. So the way that the state of Texas is trying to handle this is, well, the definition of marijuana in the state of Texas is any cannabis sativa L plant growing or not, in any derivative of that plant. And then it also goes on to say, this term does not include derivatives, oils, cakes, and extracts. So it's kind of confusing because then that goes to the Texas, from there they're saying, okay, if it's an extract, it doesn't classify as marijuana. So now they have another law under the Public Health and Safety Code. It's the hashish definition. Texas defines hashish as any substance containing tetrahydrocannabinoids derived from the cannabis plant. Then it goes on to list Delta 1, Delta 2, Delta 3, and it's whether in its natural or synthetic version. So the state of Texas really is saying that CBD oil can be classified as hashish if it tests positive for tetrahydrocannabinol. Any CBD oil is going to have some minimal trace amounts. I mean, if they're testing to the 1,000th or to the 100th, it's going to have trace amounts. So now the state of Texas needs to be more clear. Okay, well, we need to have a threshold. You know, 0.3% or less should be considered hemp, and anything above that can be cannabis. So to go even further than that, it is our opinion and the opinion of a lot of attorneys in this country that the omnibus spending bill of 2015 prohibits the Department of Justice from spending any funds or operating within their respective state laws. So we go back to the Farm Bill, right? If your growers are licensed by the Farm Bill in their respective state through the Department of Agriculture, or if you're importing your products from an approved country, then you're operating pursuant to the Farm Bill, which then means that you are exempt from being prosecuted within these two industries on a federal level. So now Tarrant County receives federal funding, in that because they receive federal funding, they cannot use any of those federal funds to prosecute individuals in the hemp or cannabis industries. So that is the murky, ambiguous, crystal clear environment that we work in. And you know, we will fight that if we have to, tooth and nail. You know, we have the Texas Hemp Industry Association, Sheila Hemphill and Colin Hemphill. I've been in communication with them throughout this whole thing, and they are very, very behind us. The hemp industry as a whole. I mean, I think if us three companies got together and put up, you know, a bill for a legal team, we'll fight the state of Texas on this issue. We're not going away. You know, we understand the laws, and we feel that we're operating 100% within federal and state laws. So we're working with a couple of lobby groups right now through the Hemp Industry Association to amend the definition of marijuana in the state of Texas and put a hemp amendment in that definition to just amend 0.3% THC or less is considered a hemp if into the Farm Bill and whatever. So that's the murky legal situation.
That was a fantastic answer. I gotta give you that.
Yeah, it's great. Here's something that's a real simple deal as well. Justin, whenever we started selling this stuff nationwide, we had several different people come to us and go, hey man, I want to be able to sell it in my state, but I'm scared. And I don't want somebody busting down my door, coming in and taking my dogs and cats and all sorts of other stuff. And so Justin actually started calling around and talking to some of the state DAs and the drug enforcement agencies of all these different states and stuff. And I think you started off with the drug enforcement agencies first, and then went to the DA after that. Anyways, got basically the same comment from every single one of them. One is, we don't even know what we would try him on. Two is, he ain't even on our radar. That's the comment that we pretty much got from every single one of them, that it's not on their radar. They're not going out there and going, hey, we're gonna bust in these people's houses and take their t-shirt or CBD oil. And it was, as a matter of fact, let me just go even further and say that I spoke to the head of narcotics, who apparently, according to the leaf fly, I was detained by. And once again, I'd like to say I was not detained by Florida narcotics. We had a sensible conversation, and the guy was actually really nice. But what it all comes down to is they've got better things to do. One is it's not illegal. Two is it's not anywhere on their radar. It's a waste of the DA's time, even if it came up on their radar. And they got meth houses to go out there and crack and bust down and everything. This is the least thing that they're worried about right now. So that's just kind of simplifies it even more. They don't care.
Well, and the thing is that I hate to poke a sleeping bear, but the DEA's hands are tied right now because based on that decision that came down from that federal judge out of the 9th District, any hemp derivative is excluded from the Controlled Substance Act. So we've talked to local DEA, and it really falls on local law enforcement. So it's a battle that we're going to have to fight at the local level, which is great because I'd rather fight local government than the federal government. But
and most of the local guys don't want that publicity.
They don't want that fight. People don't want that fight.
Like you were talking about too, all those products from Whole Foods, National Grocers.
Right, and that's when that's the thing is we went to the attorney and the attorney went to talk to the judge. He said, if you're going to come after my client, you better be ready to go after Whole Foods and Kroger and Target and Walmart and every company that carries any hemp product, which by definition would be considered as hashish in the state of Texas, because it's going to test positive for tetrahydrocannabinol. So we have to set a limit. We can't just say anything that contains tetrahydrocannabinol, Delta 9, 1, 2, 3, 4, all of them is hashish because, that's a fight that, Jesus Christ, Walmart probably has one in the state of Texas, I don't think they want to fight that fight, So, and I hate to focus sleeping bear, you got to respect your enemies, for a lack of better terms, but that's the current situation.
And friends we haven't made yet.
And then also, whenever we were speaking to the police department, as far as the Fort Worth Police Department, most of those guys are on board. I can't speak for every single one of them, obviously, since we're kind of public right now. I don't want to say that every single one of them's on board, but the guys that we spoke with whenever we were going through this, the majority of them said, hey man, we get it. We understand. So it's not like you've got this conspiracy of police officers and stuff that are out there or just the justice system that is coming after the industry right now. Now, if somebody's got an illegal pot road going someplace, that's a different story. That's definitely against the law right now. But doing what we're doing and providing compassion and care to individuals, that's not something they want to get publicity on and something. And a lot of these guys actually understand it and they follow it and stuff. We've got police officers that take CBD. We've got attorneys that take CBD. there's higher up officials that take CBD. They get it, they understand it. So, there's a lot of paranoia that kind of still goes around it right now, but it's being broken down, and there's nothing to be paranoid about, really. So.
Oh, there's definitely something.
On this side of it.
Okay.
The paranoia is always.
Is it paranoia or arrest anxiety disorder? So this question is for Nathan from CBD American Shaman. What are some of the ailments or illnesses that some of your customers are using your CBD products for and receiving some kind of benefit from?
It would be easier to list the ones that they aren't. Just to kind of sum that up, it is amazing. It's a miracle. Every person so far, it's so encouraging that we're doing the right thing. When somebody comes to us with arthritis and we throw some lotion on their hands, and 20 minutes later they freak out and they're talking about how they haven't had movement in their hands like this in 20 years. And when somebody like my mom who has stage 4 cancer is working after 3 days of usage, my sister, MS, steady hand after a year and a half, like you're saying, I mean, there's just so many. It's hard to keep track of, and it's so rewarding. And I think anxiety and PTSD and stress, those types of things right now seem to be the most prevalent. And vaping is one of the ways that we're delivering that, I guess, the benefits, the easiest. The tincture will work as well, but when you vape, you're connecting with the CB1 receptors are getting stimulated, and it's bringing balance. I mean, the whole thing, the prime directive of this oil is homeostasis. So whatever is out of balance will find its way in balance. If it's low on that spectrum, it's going to help increase it. If it's overloaded, you're gonna end up coming down a little bit. So if your mind is going like crazy and you can't sleep at night, you puff on your vape unit a little bit, you're probably gonna have a more clarity, a sense of calmness, and it's just gonna bring some soothing to you. I mean, this is what people are talking about, and somebody who has nightmares ridiculously, like for years and years, says, I just haven't slept like that in forever. And I mean, if you can bring somebody a good night's sleep, I mean, that seems to be the thing, this busy mind that we have. I mean, that's why I'm saying people are just stressed out in the world. They need something, and it's legal, you know, and it's not really that expensive to where here's this little pill. I'm going to list off 20 minutes worth of side effects. One of them is going to be restlessness, and you're probably going to need some more money to buy the pills that those ones are going to impact. So yeah, I mean, it's actually something that I don't see people having to be reliant on it. Sure, it's good to have maintaining good health. Give yourself general upkeep. And if you have a serious problem and you're putting something in your body that's going to help bring your body back into balance, that problem's not going to be needing that type of addressing, you know, the rest of your life. And as far as like money goes too, isn't it cheaper to bring good health into your life? In the long run, you're living longer, you're more active, you can work more, harder, your mind's clearer, you can think outside the box and build things that you wouldn't do otherwise, you know? So it's more so, it's the plant for human beings. It's meant for us on a biochemical level. And we're just now opening up that box, and it's amazing to see where we're going with it.
Carlos, do you want to add a little bit to some of your customers that are benefiting from this?
I feel like this is kind of a loaded question because we can't really say, you know.
Sure, I'm not saying.
So,
I'm
so I would say that I've heard, right? I mean, geez, you can just go on and on and on. I mean,
What did I say?
yeah, no. I mean, lupus, you know. So this individual that was taking this, you know, our oil, she claims, I'll say that again. She was on about 20 different medications. and, Lyrica, hydrocodone, anti-anxiety. I mean, then she had medicines for the side effects of that. And, she stopped taking basically everything. We had another client that she had severe osteoarthritis, and her hands were almost borderline being crippled, I would say. And she claimed that. And I've seen before and after pictures. They're on her Facebook. They're freaking insane. I mean, it's just, you can't, from 24 hours after application of topical, solution and ingesting as well, she went at it from two different approaches. You couldn't even tell the difference. I mean, you couldn't even tell it was the same hand 24 hours later, My dad freaking has bad knees, he takes it for his knees and he claims. I mean, there's just, I can sit up here and talk about it for an hour, and I'm sure all of us, we can be here till 9 o'clock at night talking about the thing that it helps people with, but I would say everybody, once again, do your research. Do your own research. Don't take it from me, don't take it from American Shaman, don't take it from Glenn. Do your own research. And then pick what applies to your needs.
Great answer. Glenn, I want to give you a chance to kind of answer that as well.
Man, I heard from a friend that knew this uncle. Yeah, this is, anybody here from the FDA?
Yeah.
Yeah, right, yeah. Wow. Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna go with Carlos and just say, hey man, do your research. There really is a ton of research that's out there that's available. I would just say that, I'm not gonna make any claims, but based on the research that we've done, you can look at everything from diabetes to high blood pressure to, once again, sleep disorders. I think that one of the biggest things that I've heard, in addition to helping with anxiety and blood pressure and things like that, is people going, man, I got the best night's sleep I've ever had in my entire life. Most vivid dreams I've ever had in my entire life, and good dreams. So that's just what I heard from a friend that had the uncle down the street. But here's the beauty about this stuff, is that there are no harmful side effects. Before I got into this business, I used to watch these commercials that would come up, and then I would kind of laugh at them and go, oh my God, I've never taken that crap. And now I see these commercials come up and I just shake my head and I was like, well, wait a minute, the FDA approved that?
It's unbelievable.
Yeah, and they say, what about CBD? And I've never known anybody have suicidal thoughts from CBD. I've never had anybody that's had real bad digestive problems from CBD, or died from it, or whatever the case. Most of these medications that they advertise on TV, it sounds like you're going to end up with something worse than what you actually started off with. And just like we've all said, you usually can't just take one medication. You got to take some other kind of medication to offset something that one's doing to you, which leads to something else. And a lot of these people that have PTSD are on 15 different medications, one to offset something else, And so, some of the research that I've done has shown where some of these guys with PTSD have come completely off of all 15 medications. One thing. But what I'll say is that to date, we don't know of any real harmful side effects from CBD. Once again, do the research to see if you find out anything that there is, just know what you're taking. If you have something that you're trying to fix, try it. It comes to like I think most of it comes to, if it's legit, it comes to about $1 a day or something like that. Which is less than most of the medication that's out there. So if it doesn't work for you, it doesn't work for you. Now I will say this: this is something that's in research as well. It works. God, I can't say that. Let me rephrase that.
So people that make claims.
Yeah. People. Let's just say if it's that there's a possibility that about 30% of people that it might not work for, but there's maybe about 70% of people that it may work for. You know, but typically I think most drugs that are out there have about a 40% success rate. So.
If I can add something here, you're all different, everybody's different, so you all have a different severity of what's going on. So one might have rheumatoid arthritis, another person might just have some stiff joints or achiness, chronic pain is another. You have different levels of this stuff. Try somewhere low, work your way up. You know, we never, you know, people are first time hearing about it, and they ask us, how much should I take? I'm not a doctor, I'm not prescribing you, I don't really even know who you are, so I don't even want to come across as a liar and then, you know, write a negative review. Yeah, sure. Just try what you think, you know, start out with a half a dropper and then work your way up or work your way down. I mean, you're gonna know something is different. If you don't change your diet, your sleep, something within 3 days, you're gonna feel something, typically is what we're hearing, you know. So if everything stays the same and it's fixed, and you introduce now CBD oil, and all other factors are the same, and if you notice that you're sleeping better, if you notice that you have more energy, that your knees don't hurt as much, it's probably what you're taking. Now try a little bit more. And then if they feel even better, then take a little more. Until you get to a point where you think like, okay, I think I'm doing the best that I can with what I got. You know, everybody's different, you know, and we're not going to tell you what to do. You're big, you know, you're big boys and girls, and you're going to be able to figure this one out. Just really zero in on your body and honor it, you know, and just kind of like if you're tired, take a nap. If you think you need more, take more, you know, and $1 a day, it all depends too. That's just Glenn throwing something out there. Yeah. So I mean, you can get some really strong stuff, and it's going to cost you because it costs a lot of money to make it too, you know. So, but it isn't out of control, that's for sure.
If anybody wonders why we're being kind of ambiguous on this, we can't get in trouble for selling it to you, we just get in trouble for making claims. So.
Ain't that a bitch? Wow, what a backwards law, huh? So one thing that I can't believe none of them said, so you can't mention anxiety without mentioning road rage. I think. Does anybody have road rage in here? Okay, that's a form of anxiety. That's why I keep a CBD pen with me. Because first off, I'm not gonna stink if a police officer pulls me over. I'm not getting all high and driving. But all of a sudden, I am less pissed off that I'm not moving if I've got something. Because a lot of times, right, we're trying to rush home so we can what? Take our medicine. But if you have some legal form of your medicine handy right there, it can really diffuse the situation. It does for me regularly. So if you know anybody with road rage, maybe think about getting them a CBD pen. You know, it may not help them, but it might, and it may keep them from pulling a gun out and shooting somebody for cutting them off. So you gotta add road rage to the dish, guys, for sure. I mean, in Texas especially. So okay, so we're approaching the end of our pre-written questions, and so I have one last pre-written question I want to ask. And then I want to turn it over to some audience questions. You guys have questions yet? Good. All right, great. So, sorry.
We're kind of noticing the time too. I don't think that we've really covered the endocannabinoid system.
I agree. We got one last question here.
Does it have anything to do with the endocannabinoid?
Well, I mean, how about I just turn it over to you? You can go ahead and.
Well, I'm going to turn it over to Glenn.
Okay.
Oh, shit. What's
Well, it's like a product thing. So. Okay, all right. You guys ruined it.
Do you guys want to know why it works? Yes.
Yes.
Kind of why you're here, right?
Yeah.
Kind of figuring out what's up.
So, and talk about how taking the tincture versus the vaping, you know, how the different delivery methods activate differently in the body.
All right, well, they discovered this endocannabinoid system. There is so far 2 receptors that they have found that are stimulated in the body. The CB1 receptors, cannabinoid receptor 1, cannabinoid receptor 2. Cannabinoid receptor 1s are located in the brain, in the spinal column, and I believe in the digestive tract and the muscles. And then there are, in the fatty system too, the lipids. And then the cannabinoid 2, those receptors are located in, we'll say like organs. And it's works with your immune system, which really brings down the inflammation. If you have inflammation in anything, it's causing a disease, and it will reduce that. So the different delivery methods are going to work with different CB receptors. We have the whole body, the CB1 and CB2 is covered when you consume a tincture. So sublingually, when you take it, we suggest you put it under the tongue, and you can hold it there for a little while, and then it's consume it, it's fine. We are coming up with pills eventually. I've seen capsules, so just ingesting it basically orally. And so that will stimulate the CB1 and CB2. And we can talk about what the CB1, CB2 are more related with, you know, what they help, like anxiety, you know, where their people are benefiting from. So when you take it as a vaping, you're stimulating directly the CB1 receptors. And when you take it topically, you're stimulating the CB2 receptors. So CB2 receptors in your, let's say in your knee, you put on a lotion or a topical directly on your knee, and you could get the effect by taking it as a tincture because it works with the two. But now you're getting just directly, a lot quicker. It doesn't have to go through all of the different systems. It's going to go directly to that impacted area. Same thing with vaping it. When you inhale with a vaping unit, it's getting delivered into your lungs, which gives a straight shot to the brain. So then all of a sudden it's binding to these receptors and it's helping them work the way that they should work. It is all depending, of course, on your level of efficiency in your own body, how much your body is actually producing, which most people are found in America to be underproducing the proper amount of cannabinoids in their body, which is why they're feeling the benefits they are. So I'll let the other guys talk about some of the things, you know, talk to Mike.
I think you nailed it. Good, man.
But like anxiety and depression, PTSD, so that's vaping, that's your CB1s. Other things like that would be, I guess, mood, sleep, memory. So you have rheumatoid arthritis, that's your CB2. You're gonna have like, let's say cancer. That would be something to do with the organs in your body, you have inflammation, so it could be helping with that. And I'm not saying that my mom is being cured from the hemp oil. All I'm saying is that it's helping her with her level of energy, and she hasn't had a test to confirm or deny anything that she's going through. And I can, without a doubt, guarantee that any acclimates will be falling on the chemotherapy and the radiation that she's going through while she's supplementing with the oil. So our highest dose is 750 milligrams, and I've advised her to take more than normal. So, and she loves it, and she's giving praise to it. So it's a personal choice, you know.
Gentlemen, anything to add about the endocannabinoid system? No? Okay. Well then, so again, I'm down to my last pre-written question, and then we'll open it up a little bit. So I'm going to start with you, Glenn. Out of your entire line of CBD products that are out now and coming out soon, what is the one item that you are most excited about and why?
One item.
One item, that's it.
One item. You know, actually, the one item that I'm actually most excited about, it's probably just because of, anybody have a thesaurus that you can look up the definition of results and give me some kind of a different word for? But there you go, outcome. No, that's too definitive. What we're most excited about is we actually just released our 500 milligram vape juice, and there's actually a couple of people that probably contacted me, and they would probably say how they've been blown away by it. It's literally, it starts off with a 70 to 80% purity CBD. It's 500 milligrams in VG juice. We don't add any flavoring or anything to it. It's just
What's VG juice?
Vegetable glycerin. For those of you that don't know what that is, it's what they use in most of the vaping products. It's a binder, the suspension unit. It's also used in a lot of medical applications and so on. It gets used in a lot of food. It's used as a binder for a lot of different things. So it's pretty much just a straight up, no additive other than just VG juice and CBD. But it's 500 milligrams of some of the purest CBD that you can possibly get. And we first experimented with a show called Vape Blast, which was up in Oklahoma City. And we would have people that would, I'm gonna go out on the line here, what the hell, might as well. We would have customers who would come up to our booth and say, hey man, I've got this something or other that, I've never been able to find any kind of cure for, nothing's helped me out. I've tried CBD in the past, I've tried pharmaceuticals, nothing helps me, I've got debilitating back pain, so on and so forth. And we were, and I can say this because I can actually give you the true testimonials from the people. That's probably the FDA still didn't care about, so I'll probably be in a lot of trouble here. But anyways, they would literally take a hit of it, and after about 30 seconds, I'd say, hey, take another hit, and they'd be like, oh my God. And at that point, that's when we decided we were gonna go ahead and start marketing it. And so that's what, we've got 3 different new lines that came out. We've got 100 milligram VG, which is the vegetable glycerine, natural, no additives to it. We've got a 250 line, and we have a 500 line. So of the new products that we have coming out, which we actually have quite a few new products that are coming out, that's really the one that I'm most excited about right now, because it's just like that.
And you, when we were talking privately about that particular product, you had mentioned that some people had reported that there was a mild euphoric effect from that 500 milligrams. Is that correct?
Yeah. What are you gonna, and Carlos kind of touched on this earlier. If you once you heat CBD up and things like that, you're gonna have, CBD still has a little bit of an effect to it. It's not a psychoactive effect. It's more of a, like I said, it's what we call a body high. You'll feel it kind of starting up here and kind of move through your body. It's more of a relaxation feeling that, oh my God, these things are so green. These lights are so cool. It's not like that. You just feel like a total relaxation coming up through your body. So that's kind of what we're doing.
Okay, that's very, very interesting. So Nathan, what about you?
Well, we have a product line of about 65 products. So a variety of flavors and all that, but I think the one that I like to throw at people the most is the body lotion. And you can see right over there, it's a taller bottle. I mean, it's a phenomenal formula. Yeah. Okay, yeah. Somebody, one of you guys didn't get that. So it's that one where we had a 70-year-old electrician come up to us, and one guy in the booth with me just started throwing a whole bunch in his hands, and this is a big old boy, and he come back 20 minutes later, and he bought us up dang near. I mean, he was just, couldn't believe it. So anyway, it's something that I think works hand in hand with the tincture. Especially if you have chronic pain, you want to fix what's going on inside your body. If that's what's going on, you're bringing it into homeostasis. So you try these products, and so what's going on internally is hopefully repairing, and no, it's not making claims. And then you start just hitting it topically too. CB1 receptors are helping with pain sensation, so it's going to bring down the level of pain that you're feeling, not from maybe a 9 or a 10, but maybe down to a 5 or a 6. And then you topically address it, so that's your CB2 receptors, and you're going to receive even more pain sensation is going to be relieved because the inflammation is going down. So it is something that I believe should go hand in hand. If you're going to take a tincture, I think a body lotion or a topical should go along with it, and you're going to receive even greater benefits. So, but that lotion is phenomenal. The face cream also is another one. I think Sean really digs that one. So.
The face cream is my favorite.
Yeah. Like pimples or age spots or wrinkles, anything like that. People tend to find out that it helps bring them a rejuvenated look. And so all it is for me.
Yeah, I like that your face lotion is, I think it's on the bottle, silky, not greasy.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Gentlemen, are you listening to what I'm saying? Face lotion that does not make you feel greasy.
I even put the lotion on my dome. I can't tell. Is it really shiny? It could be.
It was when you first got here.
It was. I probably settled this.
So Carlos, lay it on us, man. What is your most exciting product in your opinion?
I think it's the one that we gave you and Adam. I'm trying to tell people, man.
we're doing a raw extract. It's 100% raw extract, and it comes in these really cool containers. And it's use it as you desire. I'll say that. The label will kind of give you more of an idea of how you can use this product. You know, whenever you look at the label, but I don't want to necessarily, insinuate that. But once you buy it, use the extract however you want. I'll say you can use it to infuse your own tinctures, and you can use it to make your own body lotion. You can use it to do whatever you want. It's somewhere around 80% CBD, and it comes in a very waxy type of. What's the best way I can describe it?
So this is his company, so he can't say this. I'm gonna clear it up. It's dabbable. Does that make more sense? You can dab it. You can dab with an oil rig, this stuff right here, and receive a benefit from it. So you can dab your CBD. I didn't even know that was a thing.
Right.
And now I'm realizing, and you can dab your raw oil too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so.
Yeah, you can dab any, well, never mind.
Yeah, I can say that.
Yeah, Adam said that, but, so it's all about the consistency of it, right? So, you gotta do some things to it to kind of change the consistency of it, to get it to that desired state. So but you can make anything out of that product, you can make an MCT opening mixture, and you can do anything you want. Smoothie, anything, really.
So do all of these come with one of these?
Yeah.
So, all right,
And that's important. You gotta have that, because if you get pulled over with that, and you don't have that.
Officer, there's no THC in this.
Right.
Not the paperwork to prove it.
Yeah.
He's not gonna even know what to say. He's gonna be like, give me that.
Yeah.
What is this?
So they're gonna be selling them on the black market.
Yeah, and then you can give them my number, if they give you any problems, they can call me and we'll figure it out.
I'm surprised to see lab results being packaged with a product with them. That's pretty damn different. I gotta give you an applause.
The only thing I would ask is if our containers, you can keep them and use them for whatever you want, But once our extract is out of there and your extract of choice is in there, don't throw my name around or give them my lab. At that point, you're on your own. Don't even call me.
But officer, I have the lab.
I don't even know what we're talking about.
I'm the only one.
So, does anybody have any questions for these gentlemen? Raise your hand. Okay, so I'm gonna pass the microphone around, so nobody up front has any questions? Try to flip it on, whatever you want.
Anybody have any plans to launch a grow operation in Texas under the new CBD?
Yeah, we have, so right now we have plans for a 18,000 square foot facility, which 9,000 square feet of that's canopy. We're gonna have, our design right now is for 330 lights. So we're gonna be producing about 2,500 pounds of dry flower a year. And that's just really me and my brother's forte. I mean, we're through and through cannabis growers, been doing it for a long time. That's what we do, So yeah, we do have plans, and we only have, I mean, not only do we have plans, I mean, we have, we're pretty far along in the process. We're in communications with the DPS through our consultants and our attorneys, and we're in the design phase of our facility right now. We have a investment fund that we put together, we're definitely going to be in the industry from the cultivation side for cannabis oil come July of 2017.
I'd like to answer that question as well. And we did I'll give you the short answer, and I'll kind of give you the longer answer. The short answer is that whenever we originally got into this, that was what our intentions were. As we continue to look at the regulations and what it's going to come down to as of right now, we're not going to participate in it. The reason being is because it's too restrictive. We did several financial feasibility studies on it and just determined that the way that it's structured right now, it's not financially feasible for a company to sustain in it. And part of the reason being is because one is right now in the current state that it's in, it's only good for one specific form of epilepsy. So any extra plant that you have left over, you have to destroy if it's not utilized for that. Any extra oils that you have, it's going to end up sitting on your shelves. You can't use it. You can't. We have a better opportunity right now in the current business structure that we have to be able to provide access to more customers, more per se patients, than what the state of Texas is going to allow us to be able to do if we get on board with that particular program. So at the current time, what we decided to do is that we actually were in the process of putting a coalition of farmers together, along with a lab. We're dealing with one of the largest extraction companies, extraction manufacturing companies, CO2 extraction manufacturing companies in the nation. We're in the process of forming a coalition right now with these guys, and it's for a couple of different grow operations that are in southern Colorado. It'll be up around Trinidad and Walsenburg. And what the intentions are with the extraction company and with the farmers is we want to do an outdoor grow. And so we're hoping that the legislation is going to allow us to be able to do hemp outdoors, just like they do in Colorado. And if they allow us to do that, we've already got the land in place through different farmers that are here in the state of Texas to be able to do that. So the plan is that we would have the extraction facility and the other places in place right on the border, right around the edge of the border of Colorado and Texas, and we'd be able to move those extraction facilities into the state of Texas at that point and be able to go ahead and move the facilities. So what we're looking at doing right now is being able to continue to provide access to everybody on a 50-state basis, especially in the state of Texas. There's 26 million residents in the state of Texas. So out of those 26 million, we can't see a reason why we would restrict that down to just one form of epilepsy. Whenever there's so many other people that, and see, we can actually say that Texas has realized that there is a medicinal purpose for this stuff, because you've already said it. So why restrict everybody else from having the use of being able to do that? So we don't want to do that, so we actually backed away from that. Now, if Texas changes their stance on it in this next legislative session, which will play a huge role on as well. We'll stand behind every single organization we can possibly stand behind to see if we can get changes made to it as well. Now, if they make changes to the regulation, then yeah, we'll stand in line for our licenses and stuff. But in the current state that it's in right now, it doesn't make financial feasibility for it, and it doesn't make sense to all of our current customers. So, that's correct.
Nathan, did you
Yeah,
have
our company maybe not, I'm not sure, I don't make those decisions. But in Texas, it would probably be anytime soon if that's the room, so.
And there are proposed amendments right now that we're working with a couple of different organizations. So and we need everybody to be involved to pass this. I mean, from a veteran standpoint, from a patient standpoint, we feel very confident that certain conditions are going to get added to the bill. And this is we're in communications with very high level people in the state, and they're not going to come out and say, yeah, it's going to happen, because it needs to be voted on. But we feel pretty confident, that PTSD and there's 1.8 million veterans in the state of Texas. And of those 1.8 million, I think it was Arthur that was it 80% of them are combat veterans?
It's
Pretty close to that, So, do the math, you're talking 1.2 million, 1.1 million combat veterans that could probably benefit from. They cracked the door. And the bill, I've met with the group that wrote the bill, Texas Star Alliance. I've met with them. John Pitt Sr. is a former Texas Supreme Court justice, and the bill was worded in such a way to crack the door. And Governor Abbott, John Pitt Sr. and Jr. were standing in the governor's office when he signed Senate Bill 339, and the governor said, I said I would never sign any marijuana legislation but this is medical cannabis and I'm okay with this. So if we look at it from a medical lens, and I know everybody wants recreational cannabis, right? Responsible use. But I would say, in all honesty, that's what we're pushing for right in the long term. But let's try to refrain from really throwing that out in everybody's face right now, because it's not going to happen this legislative session. Okay, I'll tell you that right now. I've met with a lot of representatives and some senators and their staff, and the environment just right now it's not going to happen. So anything and everything that we want to get passed has to get done through a medical lens. And by signing that bill, he has told us that he is okay with medical. Why can a person with epilepsy have cannabis CBD, but a dying cancer patient can? Or somebody dying from AIDS? Or a veteran who was willing to give his life for this country and now has lost a couple of limbs due to that? I mean, there's just too much compelling, information out there that we feel really strong, but we need everybody's help with getting that passed. I mean, people need to be active. Contact your local representatives, contact your local state senators, stay in their ears, let them know we're not going away. Request meetings, demand meetings, be active and do it in a responsible, professional manner. Don't call your senator and say, I want fucking legal weed. That hurts. And in all honesty, I'm being honest, that hurts the cause. It really hurts the cause. Show up in a suit and tie, cut your hair, shave your face. Yes, ma'am, no, ma'am, yes, sir. And I support medical reform and for cannabis.
All right, next question, you want to pass the microphone?
I can be loud enough. Can you just specify on shave your face?
No. Obviously my face is not shaved.
Okay.
Yeah. Just don't go in there with a dirty appearance.
Look respectable.
Look respectable, absolutely, because I have a beard, so that's absolutely, man. Don't go in there with, Cheerios in your beard.
I've got a question on you say the post-traumatic stress syndrome for veterans. Well, those who are not veterans also have post-traumatic stress syndrome. I've had surgery, I've got back problems, I've got a lot of problems. And the medical stuff that y'all have up there now, my doctor said point blank, I will not allow you to use marijuana. This has the marijuana, the oils from a marijuana plant. It'll show up in your system that you had marijuana in your system to a doctor that will test you for it. How can I make this a point to tell my doctor that I choose to use the oil or the smoke any which way I can to get the help from the marijuana plant? Because my doctor's already just told me I cannot use it.
Get a different So real quick for that note, we're all lab result tested, and you're getting some of the products, and you have a rational conversation with your doctor. You bring in this along with the product that's not illegal, and you just let them do the research on it. And one thing we're hearing is you go in and you talk to your doctor, and you bring it into his awareness, your doctor or hers awareness, and they don't, you come back, and if they still are in the know or ignorant to it, you get another doctor. If you can get them to open up their minds to it, I think the whole world will benefit from these doctors getting on board, because right now I see people running the opposite direction. They're really upset with the medical community. And I think a lot of it has been because the hands have been tied. And most of these doctors working 16, 20-hour days, I don't really blame them so much, but they're not having time to do the research. They have, just like our legislators, they need to know that it's a concern or they're not going to do anything about it. If they realize that they're losing votes, let's say a legislator, because they're not, voicing the views of their constituents. If the doctor's losing patients because they're not opening their minds to the legalities of it, I think soon enough, the dollar speaks volumes,
And I would say don't use the word marijuana.
Right, that's what I was going.
I would say just as a society, and as a movement in Texas, let's move away from that word.
I agree.
Okay,
Yeah.
because that word has a lot of taboo behind it. Okay, let's use the word cannabis.
But we're not gonna change normal.
But we're not gonna change normal, but let's use the word, in all seriousness, use the word cannabis. It's gonna get you a lot more, you're gonna be received with, you know, more open mind. And don't use the word marijuana, I would say one, use the word cannabis. And two, make sure he understands you wanna take hemp products, not marijuana products, because marijuana and cannabis is a Schedule I controlled substance. He's not gonna approve that, period. But if you tell him, I wanna take hemp products, will not test positive for THC through your doctor's testing. We have clients that go through that. So you will not test positive for any cannabis if you take hemp products. But I would just make that very clear. I'm not asking you to, you know, okay, marijuana. I would like to take a hemp alternative.
Your doctor's probably not educated on it, honestly. Because if he's telling you that he's not gonna approve you taking any marijuana products, then that's just telling us that he's probably not educated on what you're actually asking.
Okay.
You just need to, unfortunately, some of these doctors, like he was saying, some of these doctors, the continued training and stuff that they go through has absolutely nothing to do with cannabis. Whenever they go through medical school and everything, they're brought up through the pharmaceuticals. Whenever they go to work every day, they're inundated with pharmaceutical salespeople. They're not inundated with cannabis salespeople or anything like that. So a lot of times they don't really have the education that they really need on cannabis products and stuff. And so whenever he says marijuana, he's thinking that you're probably talking about something out of Colorado or something like that, as opposed to the CBD type product.
And mind you, from the research I've done, you'd have to consume vast amounts per milligram. If you take a dropper of ours, it's low maintenance. The strongest I have per dropper is 50 milligrams. The 750 milligram product that we have at tincture is distributed through however many droppers you're having in the bottle. So if there's 15 full droppers in that whole 15 milliliter bottle, then you're dividing the 750 by the number of droppers you're getting. So it would be 50. You're talking thousands of milligrams per day. Heavy user, maybe somebody with a brain tumor in Colorado that's trying to really radically, you know, help themselves. But if you're just doing a little vaping, we sell a disposable pen, 250 puffs in this disposable pen, 30 milligrams of CBD, and people are receiving these PTSD benefits, you know. So I did the math at 0.12%. It's not much at all. You'd be good, you know.
Yeah, you need 4.5 milligrams of THC in a 24-hour period to test positive for THC.
Yeah.
So a product that has 0.3%, let's just say a product that has 0.14% THC is 1.41 milligrams per gram, meaning you would need to consume 4 grams of raw oil in one day. I mean, I just don't see how, I mean, there's no application that you would need to consume 4 grams of raw oil in a day. Unless you just, honestly, there's no reason to do that. You're talking a couple $100 worth of oil. I'm gonna test positive, and I would just use the word hemp. And
The oils then, if I choose to use them, they won't show up. But, can I talk to you after this program to find out how to talk to them?
of course,
I mean, okay. 'Cause
I think
I'd
any
like
one of
to-
us would be open to having a conversation.
I would like to
Something
even
like that.
start something for myself, selling the hemp oil and everything. I'm into doing that, but I need to find out more about it.
I think we have business cards up on the table. Everybody's welcome to grab them, and anytime call or email any of us. I mean, we're not competitive, you know, we're not competitively, no, call me, don't call Glenn. We're not up here trying to say ours is better than the others. You're here, it's just a conversation. We want to bring awareness to people.
The beauty about all of us, I think for the most part, is that I know call us that late, but my whole wife usually tends to give me dirty looks whenever, because I'm not the one that goes, I just gotta let it ring. I'll answer it, and I think most of these other guys will as well. But you know, I have people calling on our 1-800 line at literally, what were we just talking about the other day? It was somebody that called. It was like Sunday night at 11:45, swear to God, 11:45 on our 1-800 night, and I went ahead and answered it. And my wife's looking at me because she's getting ready to go to bed, and I'm like, oh, I gotta take it, you know. So, but that's just the way, once again, whenever you're in this business and you want to make sure that your customers and the people that you're dealing with are taken care of, it's not a deal to where somebody is like going, hey, I'm trying to figure out if I need to drink Coca-Cola or Dr. Pepper. It's just, there are people asking you serious questions. They're having things that are going on in their life that they want to get taken care of. And so I think for all of us, it's important that we're there for them when they're reaching out to us. And so I think all of us are the same way when it comes to that. So.
Next question, Arthur?
I was just gonna say that, let's see. I was gonna say that.
We can hear
But
you.
anyway, I was just gonna say
We'll repeat the
that,
question.
as a point of information, if you really wanna try to find out some more about CBD, that there's a website called CBD Project. It just has a lot of information. That's all they kind of specialize in, and they have videos, and they have research papers, and they have all kinds of really good stuff that will really educate you about some of the uses.
Well, and so does the Mayo Clinic. The Mayo Clinic has a ton of information.
And so to recap for our video viewers, that was CBD
CBD
project.
Project. I think it's Project CBD.
Project CBD, that's
Yeah, it's Project CBD, yeah.
And a lot of testimonials on that, is what you're saying.
They just have a lot of information, yeah, very informative.
The next question?
Hello. Okay, so I have a question for Carlos. Your facility, you said you're planning on building. I was wondering what, if you're planning on growing streams that are higher in CBD content.
Yeah, so we
Can you repeat the question first?
Yeah, so he's asking for which strains do we plan on growing? So the beautiful thing about the Texas law, a lot of people don't like the regulations the way they're written, but I think that you have to interpret, it's all about interpretation. And so the strains that we're going to be growing, we have access through relationships. We've been in the cannabis industry for a long time in California. We have access to strains that are 20-to-1. So 20% CBD to 1% THC. And these are strains that these individuals have held for a long time. They're heirloom proprietary genetics that we have access to, which is what we're going to be growing. But this program, I firmly believe, I wouldn't be putting my money and the money of our investors at risk if I wasn't really, really confident that Texas medical cannabis is about to blow up. I am very, very confident. And so we're going to be growing a variety of different strains. You can't extract oil from them, but the regulations don't put anything into place about breeding genetics. So we're going to be breeding genetics, playing with the different genetics that we have, trying to find different, make our own different strains, which we already have proprietary strains. We have a number of proprietary strains, some that are 30% THC, and we'll be breeding all these different genetics because I think the program is going to blow wide open eventually. We can't extract the oils and flowers and sell those oils, but the Texas Department of Public Safety is testing the final product. So we're not going to be able to sell those flowers or oils; they'll be destroyed. But it doesn't matter. We're going to have a lot of different strains, in our arsenal, and that's really just preparing for. Hey, everybody knows that. So in Colorado, you could not get a recreational license unless you had a medical license. Okay, and right now I know of about 30 different groups in the state of Texas that are applying for Senate Bill 339 licenses. At some point, the director of the Department of Public Safety, the Compassionate Use Act, has told me directly on the phone and through email, they're licensing everybody who qualifies. So the market is going to chew people out. It's going to spit people out at a ridiculous rate. And, but that's fine. We're willing to take that risk because we're very confident in our abilities to perform in that environment. And once the responsible use licenses get issued, it's going to be the medical companies that went through all that turmoil that, were able to, come out of that, at the end of the day, showing that they can operate within those guidelines and follow the rules that are going to get the rec licenses. So it's really just all preparation for when we have responsible use in the state. you know? Right now, it's everything is in its infancy stages. And the regulations are being amended as we speak. I mean, we got an email 2 weeks ago from the director for proposed changes that they're making. They understand that it's flawed, you know? And you know what? The DPS really wants this program to be successful. They really want the program to be successful. Somebody's gonna provide medicine for 180,000 patients in the state of Texas. Somebody's gonna be doing it.
It's already available. That's the only thing that.
Yeah, the difference is the THC level, right? It's 0.5, that allows for 0.5 THC. It really, it becomes, that limit is not practical. And that's what we're trying to relay to the state. And the Republican Party just added that to their platform. I think that there will be changes made. I really do think so.
Yeah. Yes, do any of your extracts preserve any of the other cannabinoids that are beneficial when they all work together?
Yeah, absolutely. Our American Shaman, we have 85 cannabinoids that we preserve and 214 terpenes. So people put a lot of emphasis on the CBD and the THC, and there is a lot of, I think, benefits from everything, the whole thing. So really, it's all in the process of the extraction and how you do it. We all see what you extract processes here, I'm assuming. So it's just loaded, and our lab results will show that too. So you're always open to seeing what we have in our product. And it changes every time a product comes in. So mine, being that it comes from Norway, it sits in customs and, at the harbor, and it'll sit there for about 2 weeks. We're gonna have the DEA look at it, the FDA and Homeland Security, and they're gonna approve it, and then they're gonna send it over to us. And then we're going to, and then that's where that comes in, final product. But we're learning that the fresher it is, the more you can maintain. Just like if you pull a vegetable out of the garden, the longer you hold on to it, the worse it gets. There again, you look and you notice there's a dark bottle. It's going to keep the sun from impacting it and damaging it. So we're going through all of the steps we can to preserve as many cannabinoids and many terpenes as possible because it's all good.
This is a follow-up question that fits well with all this. So I think I've bought some snake oil, and I think I've bought some quality products. It's really been hit and miss. Left by the quality products. You guys all have different lab tests. As a user, how do I know? You said do the research, which is great. We go to the clinic and look at general information. Is there quality third-party verification to say this is what this product actually contains? A couple of different of your websites, and it's all fine. I think you were saying as much as you legally can say. But where can we go to sort of find verified information about your products outside of what you are saying?
Are you talking about somebody third-party validating our results? So like say you get a bottle of our tincture and you go to Grow Verde with that bottle and seeing if it matches up, something like that, or if we're gonna pay for a different company to then, like an audit, double audit kind of thing.
Any and all the above, right?
Yeah, anybody is welcome to test our products. I mean, we stand behind what we represent. I think we all.
Yeah, I think any of us here would say, man, you can take these products off the table right now and take them down to the lab and have them tested. And there's, we were at a health food store a little while back. I was actually kind of blown away because there's a product that they were carrying. They've actually been through three different lawsuits in just the last 2 years. Unfortunately, some of these lawsuits, and one of the lawsuits they were in was actually because their product contained too much lead, high levels of lead, which is typically going to be CBD that you get down in China. One of the other lawsuits that they were going through was actually that it didn't contain any CBD at all. So those are things that, unfortunately, you have to take the information that's available, those lab tests and things like that. That's some snake oil. It's an unregulated market right now. It's tough. I mean, I think you could get any one of our 3 products and you're going to be safe. Like I said, tell people all the time, hey, look, if you have any doubt at all, take our product and have it tested.
Where can they do that?
There's a lot, you go
Per
online.
word, and
Yeah.
per word only charges $60 for that cannabinoid test.
Yeah,
So any company that you're gonna buy products from, I would call them and say, send me a certificate of analysis and a lab report.
Yeah.
And then I would even furthermore say, okay, explain to me the dosing on your bottle.
right.
Your bottle says it has 100 milligrams of hemp oil. Okay, well, what percentage of CBD is that hemp oil?
What's the actual percentage of the CBD that's going on?
So what's the actual milligram dosage in your bottle? You know what I mean? So you gotta really take it upon yourself to ask those questions, because if you don't, there's companies that say, hey, there's grams of hemp oil in our bottle. Okay, well, what percentage? It's 12% CBD. Oh, so you're telling me there's 12 milligrams of CBD in 100, and it says 100 milligrams, and then let me see your lab results. You know, and we have our stuff is tested twice. So we have third party, we have ProVerde test our stuff as well. You know, so and you can call ProVerde and verify our results through ProVerde because we're one of their clients. So transparency. If somebody's not being transparent with you and you feel, you know, go with your gut. That's what I would say, man. I'll always go with your gut. If you're talking to somebody on the line, they're spinning you in circles and, oh yeah, this is, well, our lab reports all emailed to you in 2 weeks, and then, you know, they're not being transparent for a reason, you know? So ask for transparency. That's the do as a consumer. Demand transparency from these companies.
Until it gets more regulated.
Yeah.
Regulated. Right. I'd like to go back to your question real quick. This is a deal that we're actually fixing to do a blog on. A lady that we work with over in California and a couple other companies that we work with, that there's a trend going on right now about isolates. And we, as a company, we're trying to decide if we wanted to pick up isolates or not. And I'm still on the fence. The company has decided not to pick up isolates as of right now. Whenever you're talking about using all the different types of cannabinoids that are in the cannabis plants, they all have some type of an effect on your body. And then some cannabinoids need other cannabinoids to have an effect on your body. But what you're doing with an isolate is you're literally taking everything out. You're isolating the actual CBD compound. And so that is one thing why we hadn't gone over to the isolates yet. So if you ever go to our website or anything like that, we're kind of true to the raw oil kind of effect, just like you were saying. You know, as time goes on, you know, those will typically degrade and stuff. But we're trying to capture as many of those, with the exception of THC, as we possibly can, because all those are going to have some type of effect on your body. So that's why we haven't really jumped on board the isolate bandwagon or train yet. There's a use for it, and it has to do more along the lines with lotions and stuff like that. But whenever you talk about the total overall, whenever you hear people talk about doing a whole plant extraction, well, the benefits of getting a whole plant extraction is because you're using everything that plant has to offer. And each of those cannabinoids are working with other cannabinoids to do things within your body. If you're isolating every single bit of those out, with the exception of the CBD, you've just done away with all the benefits of all those other products in there, those other cannabinoids in there. And so if you ever, and like I said, we're fixing to do a big blog on this whole thing. So if you ever wonder why we as a company or some companies carry isolates and other companies don't, that's why.
I think I need to clear something up too. As far as CBD, this whole conversation is about CBD and the CBD benefits, and I think you brought up a good point. And I think, not that I've been sitting on something, but our company is a little bit more unique now too. We are more organic as far as not just the product that we use, but as we try to conform to what works. And this is a new market. I mean, we've only been 6 weeks, year and a half, and I don't know how long it's been, but we're all babies, you know, basically in this whole industry. And you can come out of the gate and say, I know what the best part of the hemp plant is. And then you can find out 6 months later that, oh, I guess I was wrong, but I was close. And now you change your business practices around that. So we're very malleable. And as we've been talking and doing the research, and I was listing off some of these doctors from earlier, this Dr. Guzman from Madrid and Shulam from Tel Aviv, they're leading towards a different blend. like something that's not even necessarily what we're really pro CBD on. They've been, and some, there's Northern California doctors have been having a lot of their patients trying just live whole plant, just clipping it and putting it in a food processor, blending it, and just drinking it. The only heat that's touching this plant is the friction in the blades of the blender. So what that does is that does not change the CBDA and the THCA into the THC and the CBD. It's keeping the lower quantities of the CBD and keeping the higher quantities of the CBDA and the higher quantities of the THCA. So it's a different tactic, and the reason that it's happening is because this research that real doctors are doing and real institutes and governments are backing this research, and the anecdotal evidence that's stemming from that, and also our own personal anecdotal. You got an 800 number coming in, so do we, and Vince, the guy who owns and founded this, he's listening to them all, and this is what he's finding out. People are taking this stuff for 6 months, and they call in saying, and in the last few months, I've been just getting these awesome benefits. Well, what happened in the last few months? Well, the formula, we tweaked it. And which direction did we tweak it? And like I was saying, when you take a dose, and if you start out low and you're not changing anything else, change one thing, and if it works, try it again, and if it works, try it again. So we're doing that, and we're all learning, we're all growing, and it's not all about what I think the CBD is about. It's the whole plan, and it's about the awareness of the whole thing, and it's about all of us kind of growing together and learning this whole new field. Like, it's really we're all a bunch of kids wandering in the dark right now, you know, with tiny little flashlights. We're not really seeing the bigger picture yet, but we're getting there. And there's companies like us who are sharing it with you guys, and we're all vulnerable, you know, we'll tell you, hey, we don't have all the answers. Hey, we can't make these claims. Hey, you know, we're limited by the government, we're in handcuffs, but we're doing what we can with what we got. And I'll tell you, there's gonna be some remarkable things in the next 12 months, I think you're gonna be seeing coming down the pike. So thanks for, you know, being here with us at the beginning, I should say.
All right, we got time for one more question.
Okay, it's actually a couple of questions. I'm on a number of current medications, not as severe as some other people have mentioned. If I choose to start using these products without getting yourselves in trouble, would it be a bad idea to immediately cease what I'm on?
Absolutely.
Yeah. You never want to change your doctor's prescriptions. You always want to work with them. What you're experiencing, you're saying, I'm not feeling as good as I used to when I'm taking your recommended dose. And then say, would it be okay with you if I lighten that dose at all?
And I think you need to do research on that particular medication, because I know for a fact there's certain cancer medications that CBD affects the way your body metabolizes those drugs, and you will build a toxic overdose of those drugs in your blood. So I would say, and I know for a fact, so we work with the Epilepsy Foundation. We've sponsored their events, and we've been, you know, talking to their doctors, and their doctors recommend that these patients get off all medications before they put them on CBD oil, and that's raw oil. So that's about the best information I can give you on that, man. You know,
That's a slow taper.
A slow taper, exactly. And I know this personally through people in our family that have epilepsy, that, you know, have taken these, you know, extended family that have taken CBD products, and doctors will I mean, I've heard Dr. Saeed, she's head of pediatrician neurology at Texas Children, and she stood in front of our booth at the Epilepsy Foundation and told her patient, we need to get you off all your drugs before you even start this. You know, so that's coming directly from very, very respected medical doctors.
We're seeing more and more doctors that are actually standing behind CBD and supporting it as they do get more educated. There's actually probably, from the people that we've been talking to, most of their doctors get it. That's why we're telling you. And not no offense against your doctor, don't tell them doctors out there right now that actually get it. So I don't think any of us are gonna say, hey, do something against your doctor's recommendations. Yeah, I think all three of us are gonna tell you the same thing as far as, hey, talk to your doctor about it, let them know what you're doing. It is your body, you have rights to do whatever you wanna do with it, as long as you're legal rights. But definitely talk to your doctor about it and make sure that they know what's going on so that they can change your medication accordingly to that. So,
Thank you.
Okay, guys, what do we think? Is that informative or what? Healthy living. Nathan, Tamaro for CBD American Shaman. I'm going to mess that name up a million times. And Carlos Frias from the Texas Wellness Center. Guys, this has been extremely informative. I really, really appreciate your time. Thank you for putting yourself out there like this to be transparent, so we know that we're not buying snake oil, because a lot of these companies are unwilling to do this. So I just want to give these guys one more hand. And before we do that, there's one last little piece of advice, or a piece of business that is just pretty damn exciting to me, and I want to turn it over to Justin from Honeybee, the guy who's shy, and let him talk a little bit about something that I think every potential Texas marijuana, I get choked up talking about it. Every potential Texas marijuana patient will want to hear what Justin is about to say. So please give my friend Justin Cox a hand.
Over the next 6 months, we're going to start a movement/campaign where we're going to start actually providing free CBD oil and treatment to a number of people. We're going to spend thousands of dollars of product, just because honestly, the hardest thing that I've done since I've been a part of all this is try to give away free stuff to people that can actually benefit off of it. Everybody wants to try it, but people who actually can benefit from it most of the time are really, they're really underground, and just because of medical doctors and stuff, they're not really willing to go out there and try it and make purchases like that. So for everybody, DFW NORML, Texas NORML, anybody, if anybody knows anybody who can actually medically use CBD in a progressive way, you can call our 1-800 number, send our Facebook a message, visit our website and get our email. But every single day for the next 6 months, we're gonna try to do 25 people a month for the next 6 months to see if we can actually get some change. Have videos from these people posted online so everybody like you can actually see the results, and different sort of circumstances, from autism to anxiety, just anybody and everybody who actually thinks that they can benefit off CBD. We're going to be providing free CBD to a certain number of people. So if you guys know anybody at all, please send them our way. If they meet certain criteria, we're just going to give it to them for free. It doesn't matter if it's a $29 bottle or $100 worth of oil. We're just going to start providing, start helping change lives so that the Texas Senate can actually see that this plant does help people.
Yeah, real quick, Justin. Just to give you guys an example, we had a phone call Saturday. On Thursday, the guy found out that his dad had stage 4 pancreatic cancer, and so we're providing them with CBD at this point.
That's awesome. We're in works with all the Metroplex hydroponic stores around the city. And today only, if you go to Texas Hydroponics, DFW Hydroponics, or Abundant Harvest in Arlington, the first 3 people who actually mentioned DFW NORML will each receive a free product. Now, it's only for the first 3 people, but and also tomorrow, if you go there, you'll receive half off of any Honeybee products that they're sold there. So anybody who knows anybody, you can tell them to Google Texas Hydroponics, DFW Hydro, or Abundant Harvest, and tell them to rush over there and get it, because they can get a free product today. So.
That's what I'm talking about. Put medicine in the hands of people who can't buy it themselves. Damn it, I love that. Give them a hand. Okay, you're going to get some of this stuff down here. Yeah? Everyone has an raffle ticket? I got a winner right there. If you did not get additional raffle tickets, you are silly, because this is over $500 worth of CBD products right here. Then you get a free raffle ticket for being here. But if you want, you can buy additional raffle tickets for $5 a piece because DFW NORML is a nonprofit. We're trying to raise money out here. So does anybody want to maybe buy a couple raffle tickets before we raffle these off?
Come see me if you do, going once, going twice.
And we want to clarify, there's not just there's about $900.
Yeah, okay, there you go. Oh, okay, I was trying to be conservative. So around almost $1,000 in CBD products here. So not too bad. Some tickets right here.
Hold on, guys, we got a couple more for you.
Yeah, we can wait just a moment before we do this because there's a lot of good stuff.
Sorry, I think you just dropped them out.
Yeah, thank you.
I was watching you.
Delay is okay.
Did you have
Okay, thank you. Almost $1,000. That is awesome, guys. Thank you. Bet you guys on YouTube wish you were here now, huh?
I think a lot of it just has to go with, you're saying thank you to us, but we really want to say thank you for the opportunity to be here, to have this awareness come in, because we know this is how it goes. You're going to hear about it, you're going to be more educated. It's going to come up in conversation throughout some day in your life. And this is all we want is for the awareness. And a free product as a thank you for coming on today.
Was one person winning everything?
No. Hell no. That would be a travesty. No, I was just curious how many items we have here. Okay, so we're still doing raffle tickets over there?
One more.
One more.
Two
Oh,
more.
two more. So exciting. Who thinks they're gonna go home with some free CBD stuff tonight? Make some noise. Yeah? All right. I feel like you're gonna win something. I feel like you're just right there in the middle at the top with the green shirt, a strip of tickets. I mean, that's a winner right there. I can just tell. Hey, are you buying raffle tickets, Mr. Board Member? You better not be. People will string you up if you win something. Okay, is that all the raffle tickets? Going once, going twice? Ready again? Okay, all right. And the way we'll do this is, if I draw your name, you come and just pick something, right? Because I'd rather you just decide what you want rather than me try to pick something for you. Does that sound good?
I think you might have the other half. Yeah.
Well, let's just wait a second. It's totally fair drawing here.
Anybody else?
Where you at?
I'm right here. Uh-oh.
Thank you, Perry.
Thank you,
Everybody else,
for your
Perry.
donation. Thank you so much.
Arthur, you got it? You got your son?
I've got to go, man. I've got to run.
Make sure you got your son.
I do have my son. Thank you so much.
All right, there you go. We need some like Jeopardy music or something, right?
He's gonna apply.
All right. All right, let's make some noise. Let's build some excitement. Come down this way, straight down to this table, and then go back out that way so we don't have to try to jam. Ticket number 619377. 619377. Emily, is that you? Get on down here, Emily. That's one of our awesome volunteers here. Come on down. I know you're short. You're not that short. All right, next up, ticket number 619376. 619-376. Is that you, Rory? Rory, oh man, guys, when I went to my first normal event, Rory was there and told me 3 times that his shirt was made out of him. All right, next one, let me check it out a little bit. Get from the inside. Ticket number 619341. All right, got another winner. All right, next one is 619361. Mr. Dickerson, all right, come on down. And actually, you want to bring that thing real quick too? I might as well mention that while you're down here. The next winner, 619390. All right, got some winners. And these are mostly new faces too, I think. Is this your first normal meeting? Second. Oh, okay, well, welcome back. Yeah, bring that over here. That's a hoverboard. Well, sort of. No, we're going to do that at our lake event on July 10th. How much is that worth? $250. You'll be able to win this potentially at our lake event on July 10th.
Driving off the stage.
So you want to demo it? In charge? So this is Chris from Mother Earther. They're one of our freedom fighter sponsors at DFW NORML, which means they've given over $1,000 to DFW NORML. Please give Chris a hand. He told me he wanted to put in a hoverboard for our lake event on Tompkins King, and there it is. Wow. Oh, okay. Yeah, so the sunglasses, well, I'll post that online, because people can't get a good feel for it. Well, I mean, I guess I can show them. It's a pretty sweet pair of sunglasses. Here, show them how this case opens. This is a handmade case, actually. And what are those made out of? Bamboo. Polarized. Got the Mother Earther on the side. Comes with a little cleaning cloth. One of their brand new products. I don't think you're even selling these yet, are you? Barely. What do they retail?
These retail for $40, just because we actually specified for colored mirrored lenses.
$40.
And because they did not give us what we wanted, we're taking a little bit of a loss. But we are going to remake this exact same design with red mirrored polarized lenses, because that's what we want. So they're all handmade, they're all bamboo, they actually float in the water, throw them out, so you don't have to lose them like you would, I don't know, Ray-Ban. But there's also a hat pin as well, and a cloth bag and a white.
So are we wrapping that too?
Well, that's, I mean,
yeah, we should. I mean, why tease them, right?
today.
Yeah, I think we should, right? I'm gonna do it now. I don't think we didn't bother to show up today. All right, how about this? How about the next person who wins gets those sunglasses and something off the table? Okay. Ticket number 619382. Austin Pop, come on down. One of our volunteers. I love it when our volunteers win. That's my favorite. Are you gonna wear these sunglasses? Because if not, they're mine.
Oh, I definitely will when I put my contact. Dude, that way his pins over his
All right, next ticket winner, 619400. Oh, there you, I told you. I had a feeling. We still have a lot of items to raffle off, guys. So I'm just gonna keep this thing going. 619428. 619428. Yeah. Pear, is that you? Come on down, Pear. He hates that name. I'm sorry, I just called you that one, right?
But now it'll stick for the rest of us that didn't know it.
619396.
See that last ticket you went back and got?
There you go.
Was the one that did it.
Okay. Anything on the table, sir? That was a just one. Alright. We really need some music, that'd be so funny right now. Ticket number 619398.
There we go. Yeah.
Nice. Hey, that's a demonstration right there. So ticket number 619398. Is that you? Oh, of course it is. Hey, you got a joint for me today? Every time I see him, he's like, man, I got a joint for you today. Okay, now that I don't trust you. Yeah, all right, got one over there. Ticket number 619. 619409. That's why you get multiple tickets. You'll win multiple times that way. Don't you win like every one of our raffles, sir? I mean, yes, he does. You don't win if you don't play. He's got to have a show of stuff that he has won at DFW NORML.
The blueberry's still yummy if it's not gone.
The blueberry is really tasty, actually. I like the blueberry. Ticket 619395. Oh, ladies. These ladies travel. How do you travel to come to our events? 3 hours? 2 hour drive one way. You come to our events. Thank you, ladies. All right, next one is ticket number 619340. Got it, one in. All right, that is beautiful. Yep. Yeah. 2 more items. Yep. Okay. All right, so these last two each come with a little marijuana leaf lay and a pink DFW NORML bracelet that says the breast answer to cancer. Ticket number 619342. Come on down. Nice shirt. Good. Got it. All right, the very last one. Let's make some noise and get some excitement up here. Ticket number 619425.
Oh, yeah.
Is that you again?
No, he just told me, mine is just so you're done.
Oh.
420, he said there's just one.
There, is that you? All right, let's see that ticket. That's beautiful. 425. Thank you very much. Appreciate you there. Hey, Carlos. Where's Carlos at?
He,
he'll be back.
he ran to
Wasn't
the
he supposed to
facility.
give us some of those half grams to raffle off?
They were up there.
No. I mean, he gave me one. Okay.
No, they were already up there.
Oh, they
Yeah.
Oh, did we already do this? Oh, okay. All right. That was the very first item. Okay. All right. How about we do a free membership? Let's just do one more raffle item, just for the hang of it, right? Free membership. Is that cool? All right. Just for the hang of it. You'll have a sponsor card coming your way, actually. So yours will be special. Ticket number 619331.
That's
All right. All right. Hang on there.
And you get a free light.
Yeah, you can have all these layers.
a leg.
And a wristband, a lay in, we'll get you hooked up on the free membership. All right, guys, what do we think? Is this a useful, thoughtful discussion on CBD? So, thank you guys. This is the direction that I want to start taking DFW NORML meetings, is to start having discussions like this, rather than just having a meeting where we talk about what's coming up. We're going to start having more of these panel discussions. So if you have an idea for one, feel free to lay it on me, not right now. But otherwise, I appreciate you all Saturday with us. I know that time is your most valuable asset. I really, really appreciate every one of you for coming out. And especially our volunteers, you guys rock. And especially our speakers, you guys rock too. Thank you, DFW NORML.
hug. One hug. Oh, hey, yeah, I you guys met me, so. Watch out. Hey, Sean. Hey, you did the red button. Red button.